here we are in December 23. Bitcoin's hovering around 41. The halvings, give or take, April. People are often reticent to give any sort of indications on price, and they talk about, oh, we don't care about price and all that. But let's be frank, if it was just a stable coin for the next 50 years, no one would be as excited.
Every person's focus, think about the fringe areas, people that aren't in there yet. Every person's focus is money, and because it's a necessity. It's a necessity to exist, like oxygen. So the most attractive thing to them is going to be something that money doesn't change, or money that goes up really quickly, but it's going to be something like that to get them in. So that has to stay. That stuff is a thing. It has value.
So here's the final question. I'll put my sort of balls in the line here and say I'm going to be pretty bearish, and I've said this to a couple people, including Brisket and Co, and said I think this next top, I think it's going to be about 130. And I'm saying that because I feel as if there might be something that is going to, an unexpected event of sorts, perhaps relating to regulation, perhaps something else, is going to suck some of the momentum. It's not going to be a fraud, in my opinion, on the sort of FTX scale, but it's an unknown, if you like. And I hope to hell I'm wrong. I really do. But that's just maybe that's just me managing expectations. Where are you now? Because you're a seasoned, you're a bit of a vet.
So what's the price prediction?
What are you thinking, in this particular cycle? What are you thinking we could look at from a top perspective?
Well, I think 100K is a certainty. I don't think we get to 100K by the halving, though. I think there's a bet on, some people are talking about that. I think we'll get to the all-time high before the halving. And then halvings happen, and the bigger the audience, the shorter the shockwave. So when Bitcoin had a small audience, they were very sparse. So a halving happens, it's like a tsunami. It takes time to reach the beach or whatever, right? When it happens in the middle of the ocean. So these halvings are now, there are more people in the water when the tsunami hits. So we feel the tsunami hit sooner. So if the halving happens, in the 2012 halving, it took 18 months to reach the all-time high, like later. And then you had the 2016 halving, but we'd already reached all-time highs a lot closer. Like the proximity between halving and shit going mental shrinks. It gets smaller and smaller. So I think it's fireworks within 3 months. I don't think it's like, 6 months, nothing's happening, it was priced in. Look, firstly, no, it isn't priced in, because the money hasn't come in yet. There's no money in Bitcoin, like relative to the rest of the market. So it can't be priced in. I don't think. Like, how could that be accurate? So the halving will happen. 200, 220. 220, no bigger than, I don't think we get past 250, and that's US dollars, but 200 to 220 feels fair. I thought we would have hit that last one, but seems a lot of people had their hands in the cookie jar. Look, some people talk about 700 and a million now. That's fine, but this is a long race, and you don't want to be early ripe, early rotten. The goal is to be here for a long time. A really good bull run saying or thought around bull runs is, and the chain kind of speaks this, but it's money talks, wealth whispers. So the money comes in and it goes mental. Everything, every headline, Bitcoin, blah, 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 blah. No one can do anything without hearing about Bitcoin. But, the wealth is accumulated in the bear markets in the quiet times when people are starting to stack. And that's where is a lot less noise. But when there's a lot less noise, there's a lot more wealth. When there's a lot more noise, there's a lot more money. Do you know what I mean? Like,
those are very different.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a very big difference
between
between money and wealth. Like, and that saying, money talks, wealth whispers, I think is a really brilliant saying, because it resonates. I feel like that's a lot of the people that set a really good example on, how to spend money or how to make or preserve their wealth. I think they sort of adopt that mentality, I think. But look, going up 7x, or what is it, 5x from now, 5 times, it doesn't seem like much of a stretch at all for Bitcoin right now. It's weird that you got to sell people on a value prop like that. It's like, dude, that is the history book. Start writing in it. Do whatever you want, but you can play with it. How cool is that?
It's a very common thing that's said, and I'm thinking of doing some long form content in this regard to help kind of, help people along the way. I mean, there's shitloads of content out there, and, I think everyone can learn from somebody else. But I often think of this quote, and I'm going to read it now, and it might just encapsulate something that's kind of what we're just talking about. So it goes like, practically everyone is unequipped to evaluate Bitcoin because it does not fit into any prior mental framework. To make it even more difficult, Bitcoin is so abstract in application and so far from a tangible phenomenon that it's like staring into the abyss. Bitcoin is both difficult to see and impossible to unsee once discovered. That's like Parker Lewis wrote that. And it's like, that is so true. It's just like, it's so hard to get it. But once you've understood it and the weight of it all and its significance, and I mean, I feel like I'm touching the surface, man. And I'm just getting started. So
but how cool is that? You know that there's more meat on the bone. Like for us as individuals and people, for, you know, creativity, curiosity, whatever it is, knowing there's something to bite into is so exciting. Because, you know, if you feel like there's nothing new to research or something, you're going to be like, you're going to get bored very quickly. But it gives people a new lease on life because it's a whole new perspective. And people now realize, like, oh my God, there's like more than one way to play this whole game of life. Like there is a different way to it and it can work differently. It's just, it is so fascinating. Yes, I definitely think it is.
Let's shift gears entirely.
Yeah,
we're gonna go now, and let's just talk a little bit about some of the stuff that like I sent through to you just in anticipation, saying, look, hey, here's some things I think we could chat about. Whenever we've gotten together, we catch up or whatever, we end up talking about dopamine and like done a bit of a dive down the space, and like I'm so hyper conscious of the fact that I'm like a dopamine addicted.
You are.
Son of a bitch.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's that you're engineered. There are data scientists. Their only job is to make the behavior as repetitive as possible. They want a behavior out of you, they will get it. So now it becomes the smoking companies are trying to kill me, I'm going to stop smoking. It's the same thing. So social media is like the new smoking, basically. It's like, in terms of if smoking fucked your lungs, social media, or like that premise of just doom scrolling and just infinite screen time, that's basically like doing the same thing for your lungs, but for your dopamine center. And then that becomes really bad because that's the reward center. If Bitcoin's the currency for energy, then dopamine is the currency for energy in your body. Like you put energy in or you put energy out or whatever it is, like the relationship between energy and dopamine exists. And so now if you've got a whole bunch of energy that isn't being expended, but you're getting a reward that is bigger than the amount of energy, like you expend that much energy, but your reward is that big, then that becomes an imbalance, right? Now I'm getting rewarded for doing nothing. And my brain's going ding, 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 like lighting up. So naturally that doesn't seem like a good idea, because now you know that based on proof of work that we need to do the work to get the reward. If we get the reward for cheap, we're not going to figure it out and our brains will get fried. That's like fiat money, cheap money, cheap products sort of thing. Like, so if we're spending the currency we don't have, which is like, I'm getting the reward without doing the work, as well, if you go for a run, right? You go for a run, your brain's going to release like serotonin or whatever it is. It's going to be good for you. It's going to be healthy for your brain, stretching, breathing, whatever. But yeah, those things help your dopamine system, help balance it. But we also need to throttle it now. Like, you know, everything, our attention is really fragile. Our brains are very fragile, I should say. Dude, they can get so warped so quickly, it feels like. Like, just a great case in point, like Bitcoin. Look how much people's brains have changed. Like, that's so malleable. Just give them one idea. Like, that to me is mind-blowing. Like, Satoshi's changed my brain. I haven't met the dude. Like, that's cool. I'm like, whoa, that sort of seems impactful. Pretty good. Good job, dude. You know, so I think it's fascinating. But yeah, I feel like I've drifted off. But the dopamine.
No, but you're on point, man. Because
the dopamine stuff is, we need to slow down, and this is why with the consumerism stuff, how are people going to be spending all their money on chain and stuff?
Yeah,
that's going to slow down too. Just like our time is going to slow down, just like our time preference is going to slow down. Bitcoin's setting the cadence now. And it's 10 minutes. So it's not 1 second. It's not faster, cheaper. It's not buy, sale. Like, it's not like that consumerism thing. That's just feeding the monster. The monster needs to slow down a bit. Like the monster needs to slow down. The content delivery needs to slow down. Like Elon Musk, why would, like if I was an app creator, right? Like TikTok, like I think TikTok has opening hours in China and they don't have opening hours in America, right? 5 years ago, if you suggested that, people would be like, oh, free speech and blah, blah, blah. You're trying to fucking control me. It's like, bro, you don't know how fucking retarded you are, man. We know what we're doing to your brain and we're trying to throttle you. And you're like, oh, no way you're going to censor me. I'm looking at this 24 hours a day. It's like, okay, whatever. But in China, they're like, no, dude, this is frying your brain, bro. We're not doing it. You can't use this for more than this time. And if
I
you
suppose
need to
the
use
only difference in this TikTok there is full of like nationalist and
dude, it's super educational and stuff.
Yeah,
dude,
yeah, exactly.
It's super. But like, imagine that. It's like you've got a content delivery system that you can just make people stupider because they're addicted to the content. So if you're feeding them shit content, they're gonna get a worse brain. Like that's just what happens, right?
This is like geopolitics 4D chess stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're
just so busy, and all of this because we don't get along. Like, isn't that so busy? Like, how people have the effort? Like, if we were lazier, it'd be so much easier to just be like, you know what, all good, dude. Let's just figure out our problems. This is just too much of a ball ache to try and do some song and dance and that. It's like, app development, trying to figure out how to make it work 48 different countries with 48 different. It's like, guys, we're all on the same fucking team. Last time I checked, unless there's aliens that I don't know about and someone else living on some other planet.
Yeah.
But I think let's just use a broad strokes common sense. There's no reason you should hate me, and there's no reason I should hate you, or very few. And yeah, it's kind of like when you're at the Olympics, right? When you go to try out for the Olympics, you've got to compete against people in your country or people in your area or a state or whatever. But then like you get to the Olympics and they're your teammates. So you've gone from, hey, fuck you. Yeah, fuck you. You're not taking this from me. You want to say, hey, man, good luck. Hey, let's get this. Let's fuck those guys. You don't like those guys now. It's the same thing. So we need aliens to kind of land and be like, pew, pew, like with like, some Independence Day thing. And then that'll get us all like, oh, fuck these cunts. We blow ourselves up. No one else does though. And then that's how we kind of find a way to get on the same page maybe. But other than that, it just feels like spinning your wheels. We don't have a goal as a species. Like there's no goal, like no goal. Name how many people achieve anything without a goal. Yeah, whether you're an entity, whether you're a company, whether you're an individual, it's distributed systems can't achieve success unless they know what the definition of success looks like. We're all distributed systems, just particles, sparks, numbers, whatever it is, we are. So not having a goal is like you're spinning your wheels. We don't have a goal as a species. Like I feel like these are conversations surely we could start having. Like, if not now, then when? Do we want to put them together? It's like, well, right now, I think that the only goal is to just keep Bitcoin alive. That's the only thing. And by keeping it alive, just don't break it. Meaning just blocks every 10 minutes. Thank you very much. You've done your job. The end. Yeah. Oh, but what about the bells and no, just don't break. Just don't break. Everything, the society will catch up. It's like a tailwind. Society will catch up to the behavior, but just don't break. Just keep going. Because if you keep going long enough, eventually all the society will catch up to it. And then we have a bit more harmony because now we've all got the same clock. We all like the sun. All of us. All of us like oxygen. We all like water. That's because we need these things. So if we find other things that we need and we can draw ourselves together around those things, then we want to protect those things. Like if someone comes to poison my water supply and you're drinking from it too, you don't like him either. It's like, it's not you don't like them, but you're like, dude, stop fucking ruining the water for all of us. In the same way.
The same thing I would say though, Mike, is basically like, think about during COVID. Like that was an opportunity where we go, holy shit, there's this existential threat. It's going to kill us all.
Yeah.
And everyone thought, okay, we're going to unite. And maybe even for a week we did. We're like, it was kind of exciting. Like,
well, that's weird because the first time in history, everyone's been on the same page.
Yeah, we're like, let's do this, boy.
Yeah.
And then it's like, hold on. This only is really dangerous for like weak and old people. And why are you making me wear these cloth masks that are totally effective? And it's like, hey,
well, the threat has cracks.
And then suddenly it was just like division. You're wrong, you're right. Then suddenly these protests, okay, these ones aren't. Yeah. And then you're killing grandma and all this kind of stuff, closing playgrounds, chucking sand all over, skateboard parks. And you go to yourself like, that was such a good opportunity to pull together. And it's almost like humanity in some ways. And I think it's accelerated by this whole social media stuff you're referring to. Like, it's almost like we will snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, or like we'll get on our own way. I just, in so many ways, you feel like social media and those things have been incredibly valuable, like especially during COVID. I mean, sitting in your ass doing absolutely fucking nothing, locked indoors. Where else are you going to find this Bitcoin community and that kind of thing? So it's got powerful parts, but yeah, I think on balance, it's actually been fairly negative for us as a species. It's been more
100%.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. It's fast food for the brain. We thought fast food was food once upon a time. Now we know it's not.
Right, absolutely.
It's social media, same thing for your brain. Oh yeah, this is good. And then people are like, oh, what are you doing? I'm learning. And you get this illusion of learning, sort of, maybe, but sort of, are you? Is it the most effective form of learning? I don't know. Look, everyone's selling themselves on whatever they need to hear, so it's all good. But I think the jury's out that it's trash. Like, it's trash for your brain. Like, and we're going to start realizing that we're magnets as people, human beings. I'm an electrical current. I've got a magnet around me. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean I'm not a magnet. Yeah. Same thing. So now the currency of physical interactions will go astronomically higher. So if we all know that interacting with someone in their energetic field, like in their presence, has, let's say we find some stat and we uncover that it gets 100x more of a understanding of building a relationship or whatever it is. It's like, oh, okay, that's cool. Then people aren't going to want to do Zooms. Like, people will be like, why the fuck would I do Zoom? I'm not going to get to know you, because the science says if I'm not in, like, that's why I don't know if that makes sense, but I think the physical.
No, I think you're spot on, man. This is the work that I do now, like, at least on the side, and it's like, conversations I have in person are fundamentally different, especially like the fact that I know your brother. It makes a difference now when we engage, like we are right now. But if I didn't know you and I'm suddenly now going to try and interact with you cold, there's a barrier. There's something there, and it's not the same. And there's no substitute for analog in many ways.
Nothing.
Analog,
and this is the thing.
Connection.
And this is the thing. And all of it comes back to proof of work, basically. There's no substitute for getting off your ass and shaking someone's hand. But literally, one of the things, your brain can't process a screen all day. It's not refreshing. Your brain doesn't like that. Like, your brain's like, bro, I feel like I haven't seen it. That's why do you think the world is more connected than ever? And look at how many people feel lonely. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And you know why? Because the invisible magnetic thing that orbits me all day, every day, is being neglected. And I'm not a hippie. I'm none of that shit. I'm just telling you, physically, that's what's happening. You can say, oh yeah, that's cool. That's it. Fine. The answer is being in front of someone, because now your energetic field will connect with theirs. That's like when you hug people, you go to your right, because that means my heart will connect to yours, and the energy signature will connect and entangle more.
I always like find that a bit awkward. The wrong side. I always hug the other way, bro.
So do I. But I'm like, fuck it. I'm here for the electrons, not to see you. but look, now we're getting smarter. We're getting smarter about this shit. Look, as inflation goes up, people want to start finding shit that's free that adds value. Walking, running, all this stuff. Soon people's not walking around with shoes on their feet now, because they understand that the earth is a giant fucking battery that we should be grounding ourselves to. There's lots happening, and we're getting smarter. We're getting wise to it all. And now we're starting to think, well, maybe the hippie people were right. And maybe a lot of this Western new medicine, like, all these hardcore pharmaceuticals, maybe they're not sustainable. Like, the problem is all of these things have pre-minds. Like, to put it into context, like Satoshi, like, all of this shit has pre-minds. There's pre-incentives, pre-agendas, blah, 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 blah. If you tell me that beetroot or whatever gets rid of, sunlight helps you do something, cool. Sunlight is a persistent system that I can access. It's not a shit, is my insurance going to let me get this thing? It's like, no, dude, you're born on Earth. You can get access to sunlight, man. It's free. Don't worry.
Unless you're in the UK.
And so why would I want to build a tool chest of things that I don't get for free? That's like saying, oh, let's build it with all the things that are subsidized that might run out of subsidies. It's like, well, I can't build. That's like building a house on mud. Like, I don't know when the mud's going to change or if it's going to go soft. It's going to change state, basically. It has the potential to do that, which has the potential to risk anything that I build on top of it. Just like we get a geologist to evaluate the earth before I build a building in the city of Japan, the same thing. I want to know if I'm building on bedrock here or if I'm building on sausages or whatever. You know, I don't
know. You know what? I'm so glad you mentioned the grounding thing earlier, because that's something like I'm reading a book at the moment. I watched there's a documentary if anybody I know, it's my first book. Woohoo!
Dude, I suck at reading, don't worry.
No, I have to read, hey, before I go to bed. And there's a movie that I'd recommend to anyone, in case anyone has stuck along for the ride here. It's called the Earthing movie, and it's all about grounding. To your point, connecting with this giant magnets, and it's free, and it has this healing quality, and it has, it's been used by indigenous communities around the world for hundreds of years. And I recently, because I can't spend much time literally connected to the earth, ordinarily, I've got a grounding mat, and you sort of stick it over your mattress.
Lots of the guys in the office used to have those.
Yeah,
they're fantastic.
And honestly, I went away for one night on the weekend. Last night, we're recording this on a Tuesday now. I had a cracker of a sleep. Like, I woke up on Sunday night feeling like a dream, actually. Yeah, that was Sunday night. And I was like, holy shit, I feel really good. Now, whether it's psychosomatic, whatever the case may be.
Doesn't matter. You felt it.
Doesn't matter. Good. And it helps with recovering of injuries, inflammation, all sorts of ailments like anxiety, depression, chronic, like arthritis, whatever. It's
everything.
It's actually remarkable. And it's just so funny how we've overcomplicated so many things in society. And to your point earlier, like, we've become increasingly disconnected as we've had more and more of these tools that are there to connect us. And
because they're not connecting the magnetic signature. So we can do as many, you can call me a million times. I've got a million FaceTimes. I've got a 3D FaceTime. I've got a 4D FaceTime. Your magnetic signature is not touching me. It's a literal physical thing. It's like, oh, but why don't you feel more connected? Because they're not near me. It's like saying, it's the opposite. It's kind of like an inverse in a way of lonely people being surrounded by lots of people. It's like they might be in the company of lots of people, but they don't feel like they're in the company of lots of people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because they're just on a different frequency. They're lonely, they're depressed. They think that they don't feel close to people because they don't align with them or something. But these things, like, we're going to have to start sooner or later. One of these days, we're going to start respecting magnetism, like, as the king, because it is the king. We're made of it. We're made of electricity. Like, why, when you go jump in the ocean, you know why that feels good? Because you've just we're all wearing a 1 atom thick suit, or 1 neutron, whatever the fuck it is, but it's basically a onesie that's 1 thing thick, literally like a spark layer thick. When you jump in the water, you submerge underwater, you're changing the composition of your magnet, basically. And your idea is your magnet. So we're all sparks inside. You, me, no one else is void of this. No person on the planet. They have an electrical current running from their brain to their heart and back, wrapped in matter. And then that matter is wrapped in this onesie, which is an atom thick. Your whole job is to keep your spark alive. Nothing else. So how do I keep my spark alive the longest? Well, I've got to probably play nice with electricity. So I've got to keep my blood flowing well, so that, the ions of the positive and negative are pushing each other away to be able to flow through my blood. That's important. Yeah. All this kind of stuff comes in. And next thing you know, we just wind up being a big magnetic ball of electricity, and we figure out, okay, all the shit we thought we should be worried about doesn't matter. The only thing, the root of everything, is magnetism. And that's basically who we need to focus on, or where we need to channel our attention as a species. What do you think happens to the Earth? The Earth is literally a giant rock. Every magnet we've ever seen with our eyes came from Earth, basically, right? Like, unless the meteorites crashed and shit, but every magnet you've ever put together came from a rock on Earth. So what happens when we displace energy on this rock? We move that rock. the magnet and we move it across the country, just like iPhone manufacturing's cobalt, lithium ion, all this stuff. We're changing the magnetic composition of this round ball. So yes, that's going to change how the weather system forms on that round ball. Because the magnetic composition, if we're a giant magnet and magnetism is controlling everything that's happening, then that's sort of the person we don't want to fuck with, basically. We never really want to kind of mess around with the magnetic composition of our planet. But it feels like, look, all the climate change shit, look, I don't know, cows farting, sure, me burping, sure, whatever, my car's shit, yeah, cool, that's hurting it too, whatever. But up to you, it's probably not adding value, digging really big holes in the earth, changing the magnetic composition of the earth. And then taking all that stuff you dug up, chopping it into tiny mini magnets and spreading it around the globe. So it's in everyone's phones. So all these metals in my phones and stuff. So all this exposure to metal, face, hand, all the aluminium in our foods and everything. If you're just an electrical current, just because you can't see it, the metal will change the flow of this current. That's what it does. Like if I got a magnet right now and put it over my computer, just wipe the hard drive. Like, do you know what I mean? It just fries everything. It's the mother of everything. It's like seed phrases and public keys. It's like you can give me a public address, whatever. I have your seed phrase, it just wipes everything. You know, you can drain the swamp with it. So I think, I don't know how we got there, but yeah, magnetism, I think that's going to be big if it's not big already. And you know what, another angle to bring it to the forefront? Yeah. Security. If we have AI that does want to become, you know, I won't say disobedient, but it wants to basically screw us over or, you know, bulldoze us, then magnets are our best friend because an artificial intelligence system can't communicate without magnetism. So the moment you put a magnet next to the server, it just goes, it just turns into gobbledygook.
I had no idea that actually they were so vulnerable. Like electrical circuits were so vulnerable to magnets. I had no idea.
Like this is almost the actual sentient test for an AGI to me. Like if I was given the job to figure out if this thing's real or not, the qualifications for an AI, like an artificial intelligence, it isn't if it can pass a fucking maths test. It's not if it can read a book and write a review on it. It's, can it communicate like me? You can put a really highly magnetic field around me or put me into a room that's ultra magnetic and I can still talk to you. You can't do that with a machine. So it's not sentient. It doesn't belong in this context. It doesn't belong in this magnetic environment. And so that's just, it's an insta kill switch. It's like when it comes to AGI. So threat level of something like AGI to me, and I know you didn't even ask about it, but sure, I'll give you my take. Yeah. While you're there not asking me about it, I'll give you a take on it. But yeah, look, it can't communicate without magnetism and it can't communicate without cryptography. So we created cryptography. We abide by magnetism, but you know, the threat of an AI getting through either of those doesn't seem that probable to me. And again, a magnet just fries an AI overnight or instantaneously.
Yeah, like I mean, I'd never heard of that, and I'm so glad you mentioned it because it was on our radar.
I think, by the way, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's right.
Someone in YouTube's going to give us hell because I've had some snotty comments of late, and I love it. It's just like it's just so funny, or you know, people just shit posting.
That's the beauty of being a content creator, and that's the beauty of being an audience member. You get to you can rag on them as long as you want. That's the power of the mob. I think more credit to them, it's gold.
Totally. No, and you know what? Actually, like I've been quite surprised at how little I care. I mean, I appreciate feedback that's constructive, but people that are just like trolling and giving you shit. Sometimes it's actually hilarious, and you're like,
and most of the time,
I feel kind of bad for you that you sort of felt the need to actually go out of your way to write some filth.
Dude, if I read that shit, I'm like, man, I know exactly how you feel. Fuck that cunt. I'm in one of those, you know, when you're in the salty mood or whatever, they're like, you know what? Someone's wrong on the internet.
Salty. Oh, that's a good phrase. Yeah. I love that, the saltiness. Okay, so we're sort of short on time, and the AI thing is a deep, deep rabbit hole. So maybe we'll do some other AI thing because there's so much there. And I'm just starting to explore the realm of that space in terms of like what it can do from editing and all that jazz, because it just feels as if so many sectors are going to be disrupted. But I guess I think that's a show for another day. I want to sort of finish off on a distinctly Bitcoiny note. And, again, let's get our sort of like bull market vibes on. I won't put the pump it up music on.
I'm already pumped up. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah. I know. Yeah. I'm going to have to wind down here afterwards. I know. Jeez. Although you're an hour later than me. So, yeah, I feel kind of worse for you. I've got at least an hour and a half before I hit the hay.
Yeah.
But okay, so here we are in December 23. Bitcoin's hovering around 41. The halvings, give or take, April. People are often reticent to give any sort of indications on price, and they talk about, we don't care about price and all that. But let's be frank, like if it was just a stable coin for the next 50 years, no one would be as excited.
Of course. Every person's focus. Think about the fringe areas, people that aren't in there yet. Every person's focus is money. And because it's a necessity. It's a necessity to exist like oxygen.
Yeah.
So, the most attractive thing to them is going to be something that money doesn't change or money that goes up really quickly. But it's going to be something like that to get them in. So that has to stay. That stuff is a thing. It has value.
So here's the final question. I'll put my sort of balls in the line here and say, I'm going to be pretty bearish. And I've said this to a couple people, including Brisket and Co, and said, I think this next top is going to be about 130. I'm saying that because I feel as if there might be something that is going to suck some of, that's going to an unexpected event of sorts, perhaps relating to regulation, perhaps something else is going to suck some of the momentum. It's not going to be a fraud, in my opinion, on the sort of FTX scale, but it's an unknown, if you like. And I hope to hell I'm wrong. I really do. Yeah. But that's just maybe that's just me managing expectations. Where are you now? Because you're a seasoned, you're a bit of a vet.
So what's the price prediction?
Yeah, what are you thinking, in this particular cycle? Yeah, what are you thinking we could look at from a top perspective?
Well, I think 100K is a certainty. I don't think we get to 100K by the halving, though. I think there's a bet on, some people are talking about that.
Yeah.
I think we'll get to the all-time high before the halving. And then halvings happen, and the bigger the audience, the shorter the shockwave. So when Bitcoin had a small audience, they were very sparse. So a halving happens. It's like a tsunami. It takes time to reach the beach or whatever, right? When it happens in the middle of the ocean. So these halvings are now, there are more people in the water when the tsunami hits. So we feel the tsunami hit sooner. So if the halving happens, in the 2012 halving, it took 18 months to reach the all-time high, like later. And then you had the 2016 halving, but we'd already reached all-time highs a lot closer. Like the proximity between halving and shit going mental shrinks. It gets smaller and smaller. So when the halving happens, I think it's fireworks within 3 months. I don't think it's like, 6 months, nothing's happening, it was priced in. Look, firstly, no, it isn't priced in because the money hasn't come in yet. There's no money in Bitcoin, like relative to the rest of the market. So it can't be priced in. I don't think. Like, how could that be accurate? So the halving will happen. 200, 220, 220. No bigger than, I don't think we get past 250, and that's US dollars. But 200 to 220 feels fair. I thought we would have hit that last one, but seems a lot of people had their hands in the cookie jar. Look, some people talk about 700 and a million now. That's fine. But, this is a long race, and you don't want to be early ripe, early rotten. The goal is to be here for a long time. A really good bull run saying or thought around bull runs is, and the chain kind of speaks this, but it's money talks, wealth whispers. So the money comes in and it goes mental. Everything, every headline, Bitcoin, blah, 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 blah. No one can do anything without hearing about Bitcoin. But, the wealth is accumulated in the bear markets in the quiet times when people are starting to stack. And that's where is a lot less noise. But when there's a lot less noise, there's a lot more wealth. When there's a lot more noise, there's a lot more money. Do you know what I mean? Like,
those are very different.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a very big difference between money and wealth. Like, and that saying, money talks, wealth whispers, I think is a really brilliant saying because it resonates. I feel like that's a lot of the people that set a really good example on, how to spend money or how to make or preserve their wealth. I think they sort of adopt that sort of, that mentality, I think. But look, going up 7x or 5x from now, 5 times, it doesn't seem like much of a stretch at all. for Bitcoin right now. That feels very, very, very realistic. Man, oh God, it is just so incredible to think about this fucking thing. I tell you what, it is so crazy. Like, how fucking blessed are we? Imagine being able to tinker with this and solve problems, and think about all the questions that are going to get answered from this that we don't even know are going to get asked. And it's going to be this humongous possible saving grace, or the biggest joke of history. But I think it's gone past a joke now, like where no matter what, if it bows out of the race tomorrow, wakes up and it was cooked, it's shown the chink in the armor. You know what I mean? And that's all that was needed. It's like, everything bleeds, everything's mortal, you know, everything has its time, innovation doesn't stop for anybody. And I think that's sort of the lesson we're learning, is that, like, Satoshi, think about this, like, for a like just a fucking awesomeness. You redefined the word money. And I don't mean that like a sales tactic. Oh, we're redefining what fast means in terms of server operations. No. Literally redefined what money is. Like, by just releasing a thing, is like, hey man, I thought this was better money. People are like, dude, you're fucking right. Holy shit. Now that level of impact on planet Earth, that's like Captain Cook, our boy. He found a country. Like, you land in Botany Bay. It's like, woo-wee. Dude, that's why they got things like Captain Cook Highway or whatever they've got. You know, all these things.
Yeah.
That's worth remembering. We'll name a street after that dude. We'll call a village after him, or whoever it is, I don't know. But whoever's done something big, right? I think that's setting an example for people as well, to say, hey, what are you capable of? If one person, Satoshi Nakamoto, could make this thing called Bitcoin, and like, we'll assume it's one person, but let's say they made it, then what are you capable of? Satoshi knew the problem of money very well, but that means that everyone knows the problem well. And it might be very specific to you. The only problems you know are the problems that you kind of are willing to, go through or whatever, right? Like, it's your life experience. So if you have a very conservative approach to life, then your ability to collect problems is going to be, and I say collect them because they're like all experiences, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know how we got here, but yeah, it's just incredible to think, like, this dude's literally redefined money. What else is going to get redefined? Think about how many words there are in the dictionary that could get redefined just like money did. Whew, we've got a lot of enlightenment to grow. And here's another thing, by the way, consciousness and shit. Like, who the fuck says we're conscious? You know how many operations my body does a day? Yeah. My eyes adjust. Like, the pupil in my eye adjusts when I look at the sun and look away. I didn't do shit. I didn't heal the scab on my foot. Like, my blood cells worked all night. I moved my arms, I moved my fingers, I can blink my eyes and do a couple other things. That's basically it. This is a bot, like everybody, like person.
Yeah.
Their body, like, if it's a computer, it's got 6 trillion features. We know how to use like 7 of them. And we're here like, oh, it's ChatGPT consciousness and da-da-da. It's like, bro, are you really in charge of you? Like, really? You think you're in charge of you? Like, you can control 3 or 5 of the fucking limbs that you got and you can't do anything else? You're really in charge? You don't grow your hair? You don't know how to target your, recovery sites? You don't know how to fix or clean your organs, clean your brain? Your whole body's doing that autonomously. In fact, we're the ones getting in the way of it most of the time. Like, we're the retards almost driving the ship. Fascinating.
That's so funny, man. And I suppose what's so fascinating about this character is he just disappeared. And it was so benevolent in many ways, which is so contrary to what we believe human nature is about, because it would have made sense to just allocate some to your mates. I mean, it's seriously, you know what I mean? Or get some investment, or...
Yeah.
I get in some way, you know what I mean? That's what
this is the thing. It does to traditional person, it makes sense. Like, most people, when they invent irreversible digital money, they can go sell that to so many people for so much. But if they didn't want the money and they're like, you know what, I want to see a cool product exist, and that's what they get value from, then it's like, wow, we've done that. But, that's like, it is Einstein level stuff, in my opinion. Like, go down like in that level of history. Like, it's just... it sets a really good standard for people, for us all, about the kind of quality of work that we could produce, or, the amount of effort and thoughtfulness that went into something.
And the humility, right, in a sense, because it's like, there's a lot of humility.
You have to be, absolutely. But it's also in the purity of the project. The understanding is that this will taint the flow of energy. If there is a leader, it's not going to be as an organic life form. Like, now it's a digital organic life form, because it's only been born by the people tinkering with it and guiding it. But, it's not born because Satoshi's still leading the charge and saying, yeah, we're going here and we're turning left and then we're turning right and da-da-da. It's like, he's done his part, and that's sort of a testament to the quality of the work. It's like, you should be able to do your work, and you should not be able to you shouldn't be able to enjoy it, but you should be able, if your work is pure, then it's not for your enjoyment. It's for your soul almost, right? It's like, no, you want it because you
if you're doing a painting, dude, it's like, if you're so many of these poor artists die.
Ask them when they get paid, when they do commission pieces, they hate it. They like it, but it's like, they know the artistic integrity is not there. If Brad Pitt goes to Banksy and goes, hey man, I want to give you $50 million to do me a unique piece. Look, maybe you do it, but I bet you he's like, man, this isn't my jam. I like doing what I'm doing, not what Brad Pitt wants me to do for 50 million. But, maybe Banksy's having a hard day and he's like, yeah, fuck it. And I get it. It makes sense. Inflation's really high and everything's really fucking expensive at the moment. So credit to you. But I think there's something about artistic integrity where your body of work can become like an art piece or an artwork, so to speak. So it's like, I think there is something about the artist wanting to not interfere with the artwork, let's say. And that's kind of what Satoshi's done by sort of just hanging it on the wall and walking out. No questions. Don't ask me questions about this shit. Just look at the painting and draw inspiration from it. Bye. Anyway, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Okay, I said there was one more thing. This is the last question.
Sure.
So there's some people who have come into the space. It's new and it's exciting, and they're starting to just start dancing to pump it up. As I did. What's your advice for people whose first real bull run this is, who've been underwater for so long? Just give us some pointers, what we should be thinking, and
learn about one thing at a time. So focus your energy. Learn about one thing, whether that's Bitcoin or you think your mate down the road pesters you and says there's something better to learn about. Sure. But the guiding compass should be the one that's been around the longest, Bitcoin, and try and focus on looking at people. Experience matters, I think. So make sure that the people that you're listening to are, they've paid their dues, they've paid their tuition, because you don't want to learn from someone that hasn't learned the lessons yet, because you're not going to learn them either. So definitely say, just filter your content and just try and stay on signal as possible. So, podcasts like yours, you're strong signal. Look at all the signal we've got. But seriously, some people, there's a lot of shepherds in the space where they're trying to guide people in the right way. But I also think there's got to be bandwidth for people to make their own mistakes, because their own mistakes, that is the proof of work. Everyone's paid it, and you try and dodge it. And if you do try and dodge it, you can, but that they need, it's like, look, people don't like saying this, but it's a thing. People learn from mistakes most of the time, right? So it's like, if they get burnt, I'm going to learn a lot faster than if you warn me about something. The same way is you telling me to buy Bitcoin is not going to teach me how much I love Bitcoin until I bought Bitcoin and it pumps like crazy. Oh, I'm a very quick learner now. I'm a very quick learner. You've got one of my needs met. I'm a very quick learner. What do you want from me? And now you have my attention. Yeah, I think good starting place is just shit. I mean, everyone's coming from a different angle, but just find I couldn't even give advice, to be honest.
No, but you have given it, and it's exactly what I would say, not to sort of blow my own horn, but it's 100%. You come into the space, I agree, you're going to make your own mistakes. I learned everything by the book, everything. I did not get distracted by shitcoinery. I knew that I wasn't supposed to try and take leverage. I knew that you can't get a yield. I knew this all. I had to learn. I had to do that. That's kind of my fees. And then also, but I was very blessed to have not been sort of veered by charlatans and the latest thing. I saw Rug Pal quickly. I can't even call him by his real name now, Raoul Pal. I just saw that he had just deviated and had gone off point. And it was the likes of, Lynn Alden. I always say Lynn Alden because she's my number one voice in the space. And I think if anyone's going through their first bull market, just stay humble.
Tremendous amount of guidance. Yeah, if I could give silver bullets, I'd say Lynn Alden. Listen to anything that has been said by Lynn Alden, Michael Saylor, and if you're trying to figure out where to start, just focus on Bitcoin only. You can't drink from multiple fire hoses, and whatever you pick up, you're going to be drinking. It's a fire hose you're drinking from. It's not a tap that you turn on and off. Trust me, it's like a drug almost. So, if you've got three pieces of information, follow Michael Saylor's words, follow Lynn Alden's words probably, and then follow one chain only. And I think your natural conclusion is going to be Bitcoin. But if you think something's better, and you've followed Lynn Alden, you've heard what Michael Saylor has to say, you've heard what Lynn Alden has to say, and you believe that there's a better chain to start your journey on, then you're starting your tuition early.
Good luck to you.
It sort of feels that way.
Yeah.
And no, look, people don't know what they don't know yet. So it's so easy once you've gone through so many sort of iterations of thought that to be like, oh, can't you see it? But it's just like riding a bike. It's mentally riding a bike. It's the same thing. It clicks in your head when you first couldn't ride a bike, and then you finally click in it when you get a video game level and you start beating it or something. It's like that. It's just, but we're not as good at learning anymore. So there's this race between our dopamine centers getting absolutely fried, but us learning new information. And so learning new tasks and new skills is becoming harder and harder. Not physically harder. We become less excited about the idea of learning new skills. And it's not because, we don't need new skills. It's because mentally we're lazy. It doesn't get us excited at the thought. But we should be excited, but our dopamine's fried. So now everything feels like, too hard. Oh, is it really worth it? Oh, blah, blah. And there's this kind of apathetic attitude that sort of manifests.
Yeah.
So I think we're in a race between those fried dopamine centers and getting everyone to understand Bitcoin.
There we go. Well, keep it simple, friends. Stick to Bitcoin. Follow Lynn. Follow Michael Saylor. And Michael Dunworth.
It's hard to drop the ball really hard with those just three things, because there's not many variables in there. They're just going to tell you to buy it and hold it. They're not going to try, and they're going to try smothering you with education during that process. That's a very safe way to get someone into somewhere new. It's you're having your hands held by knowledgeable, well-read experts that also have a big evangelizing community behind them of people that I've seen be successful in this journey. So it starts making a lot of sense. Doesn't mean they're perfect or right. And I also encourage people to listen to conflicting opinions as well, because that's usually you're going to learn just as much. But to start with, let's crawl before we can walk, and walk before we can run. And I think that let's crawl. And crawling is just, let's just put you in a playpen first. There's Bitcoin only playpen, and Lynn Alden and Michael Saylor are your teachers, and you sit there until you decide you want to leave the playpen or something.
Oh, what a pleasure that is. That's a great visual. Someone's got to actually, maybe you should go and post that tomorrow.
Feels like that though.
A picture of like a little kid with a Bitcoin nappy on in a playpen, and then Michael Saylor and Lynn Alden speaking the good word of the orange coin.
Yeah. So imagine that, think about a child having two people sitting there just admiring it, looking at it in a thing. It's got its golden nappy on. It's Bitcoin orange nappy. Versus think about a child sitting there with 30 people standing around the thing saying, oh, do this, do this, do this, do this. The overwhelming factor is going to confuse the ability for the child to understand what's actually valuable and what's not, because they can't get past the first barrier, which is what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think that Bitcoin reduces a lot of noise for a lot of people. We have noisy lives already. We don't need more noise. So, if you are trying to learn about something, I'd rather have a teacher, one or two, sit down and tell me about one thing for an extended period of time, instead of having 40 teachers for 40 different subjects where I've got to learn all of them. And that's what crypto feels like a bit. There's so many tentacles to it that it feels like people will get lost. I also think here is a nugget of gold. Here is an absolute nugget of gold. The last bull run stopped because, shit happened. But every person in that bull run, they are different to previous bull runs. Previous bull runs, people got burnt by making shit bets in ICOs or whatever, they went down. Now, people have done the same, but they've just been blatantly stolen from. So it's not like, oh, yeah, we just made a bad bet. Oh, it's dropped 97%, but it'll bounce back. Like, what? It's like, no, where are they? Oh, they're in Dubai with all our money and no one can do anything about it. It's like, why would I ever touch this rancid industry again? And then they'll go basically and just, that person now is scarred from that. That's a different person to the person that lost a lot of money from the trade being bad, because that person blames himself. This person's bitter about getting basically stolen from. So that person goes, I don't need any bullshit. I just need give me something I can trust or that I don't have to worry about. Because the whole purpose is to reduce the worries in your life, right? So Bitcoin does that. It's got a really good reputation and it's really boring, which means it only does one thing really well. So if you need that one thing done, it's the most reliable thing on the planet. If you don't, then it's not for you. It's crazy.
Great. Yeah, that's a little nugget there. That is the Bitcoin.
So this bull run will be different for Bitcoin. I think there can be a difference between Bitcoin and the casino stuff, because we've had so many people get burnt by the casino. They didn't lose money. They got robbed at the casino. At gunpoint kind of thing. Yeah, that's how it feels like. So it's like, well, am I going back to the casino because I got robbed, or am I going back to the casino because I did my ass? The dude who lost his paycheck from the game, he's going to go and put his paycheck in next week or whatever. The dude that got held at gunpoint, he's going to be like, man, I don't know what the fuck's going on in casinos, but nah, man, I'm good. I'm good with that casinos. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a difference in behavior of how
that's a good way of thinking about it. And I mean, I'm hopeful, but I'm not betting the house on it. Like, I think there will be another run.
There will be another rally, because greed rallies always. Like, greed will definitely come back. But I think the persistence and the retention of capital into Bitcoin is going to be a little tighter this time. People are holding onto their life vests a little tighter this time. The iceberg's on its way and they're just not sure they want to let go of them now, because now the behavior is different as well. Back, for 8 years ago, 2 bull runs ago, people wanted to cash out. It was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to look at all these gains. Now people are like, cash out into what? Like, where do you want me to go? Like, legitimately though, if inflation's 6%, if it's 12%, if it's probably 25%, where do you want me to go?
There's nothing better unless you want to actually purchase something that's going to materially contribute to your life in a positive way. Maybe you want to put down a deposit for a house. I'm not judging there. But if you're thinking that you're going to trade and you're going to try and like time it and try to take some gains and then take some off the table, all the experienced dudes will tell you you're going to end up with less Bitcoin. And so it's such a simple game, but it's really hard because we have a bias towards action. And it's another thing that I've learned through the bear market is just to kind of sit on my hands and just keep stacking, because
everyone's goal is different, right? Some people have hospital bills that they have to pay, and they've got a sick family member. They have to sell Bitcoin. I want to hold it. No, I've also got to keep myself like. At the end of the day, if life is about keeping yourself happy, it doesn't matter how much Bitcoin you have or how you spend it. The idea is that it takes away a lot of mental anguish and stress from you. Like, if you can think about it like an investment that'll have your back for, the duration of your life until further notice, then that now you've taken so much stress off my mental model for life. Now I do have a North Star. I can see how much it could potentially go to in 8 or 10 years. And so now I can plan my life for 10 years. So if I'm a 30-year-old, I can plan 10 years. And by the time I'm 40, I can have a really beautiful life just in that 10 years because I planned it. And because Bitcoin is going to keep doing what it does, which is not change. So that behavior of not changing, I can rely on that. And I think that mental peace of mind, look at the currency of mental health right now. It is rare as hen's teeth, and everyone wants it, and not everyone has it. So I feel like people are going to be doing things to optimize for mental health. And right now, holding Bitcoin is one of those ways to just not. It's different, holding Bitcoin for some is good, but also, some people want a home. That's where obviously everyone wants a home, but I'm saying like some people are focused on getting that first, because shelter. Not having shelter, they might be scarred from a young age or whatever it is. They've had an episode in their life where it says, no, this, I can't function unless I have a place or whatever it is.
I don't judge people for that. And it's like, there's some people
everyone's got their own
like,
journey.
I'm all in and, it's really stupid and you should be renting and blah, blah, blah. And I go like, I'm actually quite happy to say, look, for anyone, owning a home does change the way you feel and think about where you live, and environment's important, and to be sort of constantly moving stressful, and to be able to really settle and have a family and put down roots and all that jazz. That's great. But if you're talking about every other liquid asset, you're talking about which equities do I think are going to outpace Bitcoin? I posted something today. The top performing stocks in the S&P 500 over the last 30 years, Amazon was number one, 33% compound growth over the last 30 years.
Annualized.
And
cool.
Yeah, and then Monster was number two. But I thought to myself, yeah, I'm pretty confident Bitcoin is, over the next 20, 30 years going to do better than that. And, if you think about the total addressable market for the space that Amazon plays in, online retail, and then you think about money, store of value, 100 trillion maybe, I don't know, but it's not even $1 trillion right now. So, I think it just has so much ability to enable people to plan for the future.
Yes.
And I think that's what I feel blessed about, because I'm like, I've discovered this thing, I've allocated, all I need to do is stay solvent. I need cash flow to keep the lights on. And I know that in 10 years time, I'm going to have optionality coming out the wazoo.
Yeah, that's it. So out the wazoo.
Yeah.
Mate,
100%.
Can't be more pumped than that. How good is being on a path? Like, doesn't matter. You've got a goal. And look, you can change the goal, sure, but you got a goal. You know where you're going. I'm going somewhere, dude. This is my plan. Like, that's really empowering for your soul, for your heart, for your mind, for the people around you. Like, it's just, you're running a company. Your body, your money, your health, everything is a company. Just like a company is a company, just like a government has to run like a company, like all this stuff. And so I think it's interesting when, I don't know, it's weird when you have that peace of mind. We don't even know, until you've lost your mind almost, it's so valuable. Like, you kind of
don't realize how valuable. No, I know. Once you've gone down, I don't want to say the depths of hell, but you get a little bit of clarity. You got a North Star.
And this is the negative, the positives we take out of negative experiences, right?
And this
we can have bad things happen to us.
The proof of work, man.
Always. Can't
Mike,
escape
it. That I can see now. I said like about 20 minutes ago, we're wrapping up, and I could talk to you for about another hour.
I'm so sorry. I know it's
no. Don't be sorry. This is just the nature of our conversations. I really enjoy them. I think people love to hear from you. You're an eclectic fella with a lot of thoughts and just the stream of consciousness, man. I just fucking love it. Just unashamedly you, and you're just vibing great energy. So yeah,
thanks.
And I love it, man. So thanks for everything you do. People appreciate it. And thanks for making the time tonight. It's been awesome. I was a little shattered after my training session, and I was like, oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna have the energy. And now I'm like,
fuck off. Yeah, you're not rescheduling. Let's go.
Fuck off. No rescheduling tonight, bro. No, it's been wonderful. Thanks so much, man. And I'll put a link to your Twitter and wherever else. People know you. I'm kind of a big deal.
No, I'm not that guy.
No.
But literally, I'm not the influencer type. People are all about that, but my shit's just too not. Like, it's too different, or not different, but it's just niche. People will get interested in over time, I think. But I think, everyone's got a different audience and a different voice. And that's the cool part about this whole industry. Everyone is sort of from the same value system, sort of, but everyone's got a different, I love seeing the sort of different flavors of almost interest of people in the space. It's incredibly diverse. It's so cool.
If I didn't know you, I probably wouldn't follow you, and not in a bad way, but the stuff you post goes over my head. I'm like, what the fuck's this boy talking about?
Same with me.
Yeah. Yes. So it's just like, it is amazing though, how like everyone comes from different angle. All right, Mike, we're going to wrap this up. Thanks so much, dude. Really appreciate you.
Awesome.
And woohoo! It is...
pump it up.
Let's go, boy. All right. Take it easy, man. We'll see you soon.
Bye, dude.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the conversation and that you got some value out of it. Either way, hit me up on Twitter and let me know what you think. My handle is Dale21M. If you've got any suggestions as to people you think I should be talking to or topics I should address too, I would love that sort of feedback. Otherwise, if you want to support the show, there's a couple different ways you can do that. The first is just to share it amongst your friends and family. The more that people hear the message that Bitcoin and crypto are not the same thing, the better. And I want to help people understand that. The second thing you can do is give me a 5-star review on whichever podcast app you're using. Of course, that's only if I deserve it.
And last but not least, if you want to stream sats my way via the Fountain app, I'm not going to say no, but it's not expected. Thank you so much for your support thus far. It means the world to me. I appreciate the hell out of you, and the best is yet to come. Much love, friends. I'll see you on the other side.